the best part of the birth is when my daughter was all the way out and I got to put her on my chest and feel her little heartbeat next to mine. And that was just
so
a
beautiful.
wonderful feeling. I want a lot of guys just
the advocates for their women.
Yes,
the advocates.
It's important, and trusting your partner's ability to have the baby too, and you being there. You have to be a part of the birth.
You must.
I say this again, guys. You have to be a part of the birth. It's important to hold your wife. It's important to rub her lower back. It's important to be there for her in any kind of way that she needs, so she can be comfortable in having the baby. Just be calm. You're gonna see things that a little blood and things of that nature. So I already knew what to expect when the birth was coming. So that's why I was so calm. But there was times where I got like, oh,
antsy.
This? Yeah, I got very antsy, and I just let everything be, and I was just I was just amazed at the whole process of it. I was just amazed because.
Welcome to the Wisdom Womb podcast, where we discuss all things conscious birth, reproductive justice, women's health, and social justice. This podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical or professional services or advice.
In today's episode, we discuss our men and birth. What if I told you that there are ways that you can naturally increase your body's ability to birth faster? When I was in the hospital setting, what I would find and what was consistently the norm was that women would be birthing for hours, especially first-time moms. Right now, the average amount of time that a first-time mom takes to birth her first baby is approximately 24 hours. That's considered a normal length of time. Some babies can be born quicker and some can be born with a little bit more time, but average, there is a 24-hour. But I want to teach you ways that we can naturally increase our body's ability to birth quicker. It behooves us all. If you think about birth like a marathon, which is what I'll frequently say during these episodes, birth is the equivalent of a marathon. Imagine if you're running that marathon for 24 hours versus maybe 8 hours. Do you see how you'd have much more resilience? Do you see how your body would be able to do this without being winded? That's the goal. The goal is not just to birth naturally. The goal is to birth as rapidly as possible. And our men, I want you to hear this, our men are extremely important in this equation. They have been left out. They've been dejected. They're not welcomed in the birth environment in the way that our men need to be welcomed and encouraged. So in today's episode, I want to bring you a young man who is a natural birth advocate. He goes by the name of Q. He has witnessed his own last little baby girl born at home. I would just like to welcome you, Q. Thank you for being a guest on this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. So if I can just start, can you tell me, what did you know of natural birth before your daughter was born?
What did I know of natural birth?
Yeah.
My first 3 daughters, I didn't know anything. My first one, my fourth, which is Anya. That's when I got a great teacher. So, that's when I started knowing that natural birth was a thing. Actually.
Can I just say to you, I don't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of times when men are approaching a home birth, not just a natural birth, but a home birth for the first time, when they have no experience, there's a lot of trepidation, right? There's a lot of fear and angst and anxiety. And it comes from a place of, and I don't mean to use the word ignorance in a derogatory way. It's just our lack of knowledge about this whole process. So I've known you for some time now, and I noticed that you were really calm. You never expressed fear. You never expressed any fear. And that's really unique. What made you feel so calm and certain about this?
Okay, so like I said, I think the best teacher of natural home births. I've learned from the best, and it was what I was taught. I was taught by the person that was telling me about birth, and she was just telling me, just be calm, You're gonna see things that, a little blood and things of that nature. So I already knew what to expect when the birth was coming. So that's why I was so calm. But there was times where I got like, oh,
antsy.
This? Yeah, I got very antsy. And I just let everything be. And I was just, I was just amazed at the whole process of it. I was just amazed because I've never seen my other 3 girls born at all.
What was the best part for you?
The best part of the birth is when my daughter was all the way out and I got to put her on my chest and feel her little heartbeat next to mine. And that was just
so
a
beautiful
feeling.
It's funny. That's not a small thing because in a lot of settings, it's not, men are not just beer bag. So what you're referring to is called skin to skin. Right? And when babies are born, it's really important. It regulates their temperature because babies cannot regulate their own temperature as well, right? So when they're actually put on the mother's chest or the father's chest, they already remember your voice, right? So you are familiar. Your heart rate regulates her heart rate. Your respiratory rate regulates her respiratory rate. Your temperature, your skin temperature regulates the baby. So there are so many complex processes happening. So you mentioned that, and it sounds like, wow, he got to put a baby on. But did you even know that you were doing all those things just by putting your baby on your chest? Interesting, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is definitely interesting. And
it wasn't a small deal. It wasn't small.
It wasn't. And once I really, once our daughter was here, I
Okay, cat's out the bag.
Yes, I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's all right.
Amanda's husband.
This is my husband, Q. We're referring to our daughter's birth, but I kind of wanted to save that to the end, but it's okay. It happened. It's cool. So this is my husband, and he was not familiar with natural birth before.
At all.
Right. So this is new territory. And the reason I'm showcasing him is because I feel like he can speak to the average man out there who maybe has a wife or a girlfriend or a loved one pregnant, and he might be really, really on edge, and he has a right to be, because the current birth state in this country is not the most comforting.
It's not.
Right. So when we have men who have chosen to go another route, it's so important that their voices be heard, because it's going to reverberate. Other men are going to feel empowered by knowing, hey, here's someone who was not familiar with this world
at all,
and he stepped right into it, right into it, and loved it, and is an advocate for birth in this manner now. So I want to take my hat off to you, not because you're my husband, but because a lot of men would not be as open. They would not be as open to hearing this out and really giving it a chance, and not just giving it a chance, but going forth boldly. Take me through that day. Take me through the sequence of events.
No problem. Well, naturally, you was giving birth and was in labor.
Labor, yeah.
And I was, in the beginning, I was kind of antsy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I hope, because even though I've learned a lot of things from my wife,
of course,
I was still kind of just being me. Being honest.
You've never had it.
Just me. This is the first time. This is the first time ever I see any of my kids born, and it was it made me tear up a little, but it was at the end. But in the beginning, I was very antsy and kind of nervous. Although I know my wife was telling me, you don't have to be nervous. This is a natural birth. This is a natural.
You didn't look nervous.
Then, I didn't.
Yeah.
But inside, I was well composed. But I definitely was. And then once the process was taking place, and I've seen it, I was watching everything. I just that just opened my eyes to something more. I should say, higher than average.
It'll take you there.
And then when my daughter was born, I felt a sense of happiness. I felt a sense of hope.
Relief.
Really relief. And it was just I just loved it, everything about it. And then nothing grossed me out. I wasn't grossed at the birth itself. The things that happened during birth.
Because the birth of your kid isn't gross. It's not. But I think we have this perception, like based on the things that we see, that birth is like yucky and really gross.
Yeah, but men shouldn't think that way. It's not yucky. What they see on TV and what they witness in person is two different things. I believe and I feel.
Tell me about in which way you think.
Okay, if you're in the hospital, it's more mechanical. You know,
Absolutely.
it's more mechanical. It's like,
It
all
is.
right, lay here, put your leg up this way. You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
but when you're home in a natural birth, you can be on all fours. You can be on, you know, wherever the ladies, the woman is comfortable at. You can
Yes.
be. You know,
Yeah.
you can be on that position.
Being on all fours and doing what your body says to do actually encourages labor to happen
Naturally, quicker.
faster. Yes, exactly. Because you have nature, gravity assisting you.
Right.
When you're laying on your back to birth, if you could think of any other bodily movement that's similar to, you know, when you're excavating, right? Birth is the process of excavation too. When would you ever lay down? You don't lay down to take a poop, right? It is the most. It's not.
It is, and I don't know. I don't know why hospitals do their birth the way they do it, but
I'll tell you.
After me being taught by you and seeing it, and you know, videos, countless videos, and our own daughter, my perspective on it is completely different. It's nothing. To me, you're doing God's work. You're the gatekeeper, and I'm glad to be a part of that. I don't know if that's blessings upon me or, you know, whatever, but I'm not doing it for that. I just love the process of natural birth, and you know, everything is in bodies because the baby's much more healthier.
Nurture. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and once you give the baby all of, and another thing, guys, when you witness your wife's birth, don't cut that umbilical cord too much because your baby needs more of the oxygen and blood that's in there. A lot of his blood her blood supply is in there. So just keep that for the first day. I don't know if a lot of guys know that.
So I want to stop you right there because
Okay.
that's way too, that's so important, right?
Okay.
So we're now calling it premature cord clamping. Cutting that umbilical cord after the mom has delivered the baby immediately upon delivery while the cord is still pulsating and delivering oxygen, nutrients, red blood, so many important vital nutrients are being delivered through to the baby during that transition. So it's so important that transition not be stark. It's so important that it not be cut prematurely. There is so much, like that one little thing that you're saying. I mean, sometimes you're saying little things and they're huge because they open up a tsunami. It opens up a tsunami of things that women are now talking about, and we don't want our babies' cords cut prematurely anymore because there's up to 30%, I say it all the time, up to 30% of the baby's blood is still in that placenta. Absolutely. And that's how the baby is being oxygenated. Right. During those entire months of pregnancy, the baby is being oxygenated by the placenta. It's delivering nutrients and oxygen through the blood. So if that transition is stark, once the baby's born,
There can be complications.
Absolutely.
Guys, I just want you guys to really, I want a lot of guys just
The
open
advocates for their women.
Yes, it's important, and trusting your partner's ability to have the baby too, and you being there, you have to be a part of the birth.
You must.
I say this again, guys. You have to be a part of the birth. It's important to hold your wife. It's important to rub her lower back. It's important to be there for her in any kind of way that she needs, so she can be comfortable in having the baby. So that's very important too. And
Can I?
no problem, no
Sorry.
problem.
Okay, so that is another huge one, right? We are not talking about something simple and small here. It's just so intuitive, it's so instinctual. You're gonna, if someone's in pain, you don't just, it's just never normal to stand and watch
there
them,
and
right?
watch, yes.
But in the hospital, that's what I'd see all too often. I'd see all too often the men feeling very dejected. You can tell in their body language, you can tell in their demeanor. They'd have their hands in their pockets and they'd be off to the side somewhere. Because nowhere in that entire process is the man ever made to feel important and valuable. He's not a part of the team. We already have the medication to do what he can do. And that brings me to how do our men's presence during our births lend to a faster birth? Here's how. When we kiss, when we cuddle, when we are intimate with our partners, our oxytocin level, oxytocin's a hormone that's naturally in the blood. It's produced by the part of the brain. The body's producing this hormone in excess amounts at this time. And it serves us well in labor because it makes the uterus contract. And the more you have in the blood is the more effectively you will contract, right? And the more effectively you contract is the faster the body is That expulsion is happening faster when the contractions are more powerful. So the reason that a lot of labors take a long time is because there's not sufficient oxytocin. When you're in the hospital, you're not getting, it's the artificial form, which is Pitocin, right? So that's when they increase the Pitocin in the hospitals.
Question, babe.
Sure.
What's the difference between the two so everybody knows?
So oxytocin is our body's natural hormone. So it's the love hormone. It's produced in more and higher quantities when we're doing things that pertain to love, when we're cuddling, when we're kissing, when we're touching. Even your touch, right? A man's touch in labor is as effective as pain medication. So imagine if not only is he providing you with pain relief, and I'm going to show you a position that I have all of my clients do in labor, right? It's a little, it's small, but again, it's the small things. It's not the grand things. We've been looking at the entire picture instead of breaking it apart and looking at the beginning, the middle, the end, and really seeing how we can make things work and function and flow better. We're looking at a whole big puzzle, and we haven't done our job in putting the pieces together better so that we can have a proper done puzzle. We call, some of us who work in the birth work, we call places where women normally deliver, we call them upside down land. Because if you have a man and you know that he's able to help a woman increase her oxytocin levels, well, why wouldn't you try that? Because then that would mean you don't really need me as much. If the hospital system empowered women to think, look, here's how you can do this naturally. Here are the things you can do in labor to make this happen faster. Then you wouldn't need them as much. So it behooves them to keep us ignorant. Pitocin is what we deliver in the hospital system it's one of the drugs. It's not the only drug. It's one of the drugs that we deliver to women to increase the strength and the duration and the power of our uterine contractions. But if we can do that naturally, which we can do naturally with just our partners present, his touch, his kiss. I mean, these things are important. And they serve to make the process happen faster.
That's right.
And that's what we want. We want the process to happen faster. It is to no one's benefit to have a really long labor.
It took 8 hours, I think.
Yeah, it did take hours. 8 hours, start to finish.
I'm not gonna lie though, I didn't see that. And guys, again, y'all guys are not gonna see. Y'all not gonna feel the hours going by.
Yeah.
You're just there and you're in the moment,
and
you just want everything to go off without a hitch, man.
Yeah.
And you want your wife to be safe as well as the baby. And it don't seem that long. It don't seem that long in birth when you're in the thick of it. But if it's hospital and you're waiting in the waiting room and these hours going past, that's torture to me. That's torture. A big part of it is me being there, touching her and helping her.
Yeah, huge.
And that's a huge thing. But also just talking to her also, say, babe, you got, you could do this, And she's my wife. She's super calm. So it wasn't like, because she knows the process, she knows what this embodies. And it was just...
Can I just say, and I don't mean to cut you off, because
no problem.
I've had clients whose men have asked me, well, how can I support, or even women, like friends, how can I support my partner? I'm going to be there during labor. Or how can I support my friend? I'm going to be there during labor. And my answer is always the same, right? So even though I have my clients practice little things, they're not... I don't have a 12-step program, and I do that intentionally because I don't want to make birth this thing that is rehearsed, right? It comes naturally.
Exactly.
What you do for your partner in labor is what are you drawn to do? You know your partner better than anyone else, right?
Absolutely.
You know if your partner likes to be touched when they're in pain or if they don't. You know these things. This is the time to go really, really guttural and to just do what you would do intuitively.
Right.
This is an intuitive process. This is not a process that needs to be greatly, okay, did I check the check? Nope, we're not doing that. That's the part of the brain that controls creativity, imagination. That's where birth happens. So this is where you really go inward as a man. This is where you really go inward and you really are there to support her. So if that means, and I want to show the audience one of the exercises that I have, and not really an exercise, just a cute little activity, and it serves a purpose, right?
But it helps.
But it helps drastically.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just show them. How about that? Come on,
problem.
Let's show them. Okay, so this position is going to put me right in line with how and where
is the perfect place for a man to touch his woman during labor to relieve some of her labor pains, right? This is the position. This is the little pose. And I'm leaning on him. Of course, I have a huge belly at the time, so I can't really lean on him as much. So it's more of like this. And naturally, a man's hands will land right here. This is the port. This is the part right here.
It's important to massage that part.
Absolutely. During labor, massage that part. I'm only far from him because I'm pretending like I have a big belly. How to do that?
You just massage like this, guys. You just put your hand here.
Yeah.
And you massage.
Yeah. When I'm holding my partner, what I'm thinking and my intention, and your intentions are important, what I'm doing is I'm giving him some of my pain, right? Your hands transmit energy. You can deliver some of your pain. It is so pain relieving to hold someone during a time like this. So you hold your partners, lean on them, rest on them, transmit some of their the pain.
Do anything to make sure they're comfortable.
Absolutely.
So they can forget about the pain.
That is the place where, and that is the way that you'll find, especially in early labor. This is how I have my clients bond and commune with one another to make those contractions more manageable.
So that was just a really cool way and a really simple way that you can support your partner in pregnancy. Absolutely. Another important quality that men bring to this whole equation is the fact that their semen contains a protein that actually helps to soften the part of the body that needs to soften before labor can commence. So our men are really important in this process. I would implore you to invite your man to your prenatal sessions, right? Invite your partner to your prenatal sessions. Include him. Let him know that he is important and that he's valuable and he's needed during this process. And I think by just doing that, we're going to really, really burst we're going to really make some headway with regards to our comfortability, and our approach to birth is going to change. And that in itself is going to make a real dent in the current maternal and infant mortality and morbidity crisis in this country. So before we wrap up, I want you to tell me, would you choose a home birth again? And
guys,
if you
y'all
would,
want to hear my honest opinion on that? Absolutely. Every time, I at any time, I don't care what I'm doing or what's happening, I will always choose a home birth first. It's more, to me, it's more safer. It's more personal to you. Guys should definitely be there for their partners, and please, man, just try a home birth.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on, sharing your wisdom, sharing your insight. You're going to be an inspiration to a lot of other men to take the reins, this by the horns. You will. Take this by the horns. Do not leave your child and your child's mother out there on their own. They need you. You are important in this process, men. You are needed in this process. Your touch is as effective as pain medication. Go home and tell your wives that.
Truth.
Only you can do that. Okay.
Testify.
Absolutely. I hope that this episode brings you a lot of clarity. I hope that this episode really makes you feel empowered to bring your partner along on your pregnancy and birth process. I hope that if you are a man and you're listening, please, ladies, share this with your men. I hope you understand that you have been one of the missing pieces of the puzzle. We need you. We need you. We want you by our sides when we deliver. Don't worry about don't worry about the messages that the current media is telling us, that women are glaring at their husbands and they want to beat them up because he got them in this situation. That's not really how birth happens. Thank you for joining us. I look forward to speaking and spending more time with you all. And I wish you all nothing but peace and blessings. Thank you for joining.
Peace and blessings. Please like, share, and subscribe, and help share this message of love and hope for humanity.